We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Michael. This question comes from Austria. So this is a new one for us, I think. I don't think we've ever officially
explicitly
heard from Austria.
know that it was Austria, yeah.
No, we've done Finland, right? We did Finland, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Did we do...
Denmark?
Denmark, that's right.
I'm pretty sure we've had someone from Germany. Pretty sure.
I feel that way. I know Japan. We had Scott. He asked
yeah.
a bunch of questions from Japan. Of course, Australia, Canada, America, Puerto Rico.
UK, India?
Yep. Oh, definitely India. I forgot about the guy with all the marble.
Philippines?
Philippines for sure. So Austria, Michael, thank you for contacting us. Michael will be moving to a new condo this year and is planning for a theater setup in his living room, which is open to the kitchen, dining room, total roughly 3,600 cubic feet.
Okay.
He didn't give us that in feet, did he? He gave us that in...
No, he translated it to feet. He's like, it's the whole space is roughly 23 feet wide, 21 feet long, but that's the whole space, not his theater portion area.
So his home theater area will be 15 feet from front to back, and with a front wall that is only about a little bit over 8 feet across. There's a balcony door to the left that needs to be remain accessible, and everything is a bit of a tight squeeze. So... I can't see this picture. It's very big. It's very small. So I'm scrolling. Oh, here's the bigger version. I just had to keep scrolling. Right. Oh, kitchen block. I always wanted a kitchen block. All right, he's already decided to go. He'll go with the 65-inch Sony Z9D. I said Z for Rob's.
I think he even translated that because I'm pretty sure in Europe it is the ZD9. I have no idea why they do silly things like that, but yeah.
So, and a Magnat THX Ultra 2 wall-mountable speakers. He'll have 2 feet of space behind him and 13 feet to the front wall from his primary seat. He's interested in immersive audio because the system will be used for regular TV and streaming content in addition to movies. He's interested in upmixing, particularly the Oro 3D upmixer, which seems to be a much bigger deal in Europe than in the US and Canada. Hey, if it's any deal in Europe, it's a bigger deal than this here, but that's good. He's planning to use the Denon X6300H and a 5.2.4 layup that will be usable both for Oro 3D and Atmos. Looking at diagrams, does this seem to be a reasonable plan? I gotta scroll back and look at the diagrams here. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, he was well aware. He said in his email it's going to be front heights and rear heights, and that is exactly what you need to label them in order to be compatible with both Atmos and DTSX for that matter, and Oro 3D. So that's well done. Now, the speakers, these Magnat speakers, I've heard of that brand before. I didn't realize they had this THX Ultra 2 certified line. I really like this line. I got to be honest. I like the design of these. If you check out the specs that they have posted, they have crazy high power handling. So I'm like, I'm kind of impressed by these.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like that. So they have these interesting Atmos modules. So those are their, what are the A400s or something like that. But they have these Atmos modules, but they're somewhat unique in that they are a module that you could put on top of a regular speaker and have be up-firing. But they also give you a switch on the back to alter their crossover to just make them into regular direct-firing speakers that they suggest you can mount either directly on the wall or on your ceiling. So, like, if it's on the wall or on the ceiling, you have a direct mode. And if it's up-firing, there's an up-firing mode. I'm like, cool, that's a neat idea and a neat design. So his basic idea of, 4 of those Atmos modules, but he's actually going to have them high up on his walls, front heights and front rears. Looks good to me. The rest of his layout, I'm like, because of where things are, I'm a little concerned about that balcony door. It looks as though it swings inward toward where his TV is going to be. Make sure you put a door stop on that. I'm sure he's thought of that.
I don't think that balcony doors... do they often swing inward?
I don't know. I'm just seeing the arc on the diagram that looks like a door
right.
swing.
Yeah, I
right?
do see that. Yeah, that is odd.
Yeah, but there's no reason why you couldn't put a door stop on it to make sure it stops at 90 degrees. So that's okay, and I'm sure he's well aware of that. That's about my only concern. Other than that, I'm like, I don't see another way to lay out this theater than what he's proposed.
I guess he's not going to do a voice of God. Is that the thing? He won't be able to do a voice of God.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, that's kind of the.
You
You
could
got
get one more of those Magnat Atmos modules and do a voice of God, I
yeah.
suppose.
That's the only thing I'm seeing missing here is a voice of God.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have tons of options here
No,
as
no,
far as where
I
to
think he's
sit.
done a good job of laying this out,
It,
and I think his equipment choices are very nice as well.
yeah, his left surround is way over to the right side, which is not necessarily an issue. It is sort of just I'm just pointing it out that your left
Mm.
surround is basically on the couch and the other one is a couple of feet off the couch. What does that mean?
But compared to where his primary seat is going to be, which is the
Which is
X,
that X?
marked on the
Yeah.
diagram, it's pretty even. And I mean, you adjust the trim level as necessary, and that's about
I know
it.
he says that's where his primary seat's going to be, but do you really think you're going to sit
Slightly
that
to the
far
right
off
of your
to the
TV.
right of your TV?
Well, probably because it looks like it's a chaise
Yeah,
lounge type of extension,
he's
so he's
gonna
probably
be lying
lying
back on it. Yeah,
back on there. Yeah. I think you've done about as well as you can with this
Yeah.
room layout. Yeah.
it looks fine.
Yeah.
It looks okay. I'm just worried about your voice of God speaker. All right, so blah 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 blah. Moving to subwoofers, the layout and total space limits placement options. Diagonal placement, of course, isn't possible. And subwoofer size, its best thought was a pair of SVS SB2000 placed on the front wall on either side of the TV, or a single PB2000 or Ultra 13. I'm sorry, it's SB13 Ultra placed in the front corner. I'm guessing the front left corner. He wants a symmetrical look. Can we think of any better solutions looking at the back of this thing?
I mean, yeah, given the restrictions and how tight you are for space up front, and that you got to make sure that door swinging open is going to work. 3,600 cubic feet. That's, technically it's a large room, but it's on the small end of a large room. Dual SB2000s, I wouldn't have too much of a problem. And he said there is a neighbor like just on the other side of one of these walls, so he's not going to be like cranking it. He's not going for full reference volume.
Yeah.
So output wise, I think that's fine. Placement wise, I don't see a whole bunch of other options for you either.
I'm really confused about these curtains on the bottom of this. I mean, as we're looking at this picture on the bottom, it says curtains, and it looks like they open. Something opens. So
I
is
think
that
those
a window
are
or a door?
Yeah, I think those are like doors that go out to a landing or something like that. But he's going to have curtains that can close over them.
Then close over that. He's just letting us know that.
Yeah.
Okay, because that changes like placement of things as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Again, I think you've done about as well as you reasonably can in this space.
I kind of the thing is that he's going to be paying for shipping, right?
Right.
And shipping to Austria can't be cheap to begin with. And
Well,
then
SVS does have European distributors, so he doesn't have to ship it
maybe-
all the way from the States to Austria.
maybe it won't be that bad, but
Yeah.
having the dual subwoofers would be nice, giving him
Yep.
more options. I don't know that you're going to be able to do any sort of placement that, because the only other place I really see is if, based on where you have this one, is if you placed it between wherever it says kitchen, wherever it says shelf on the right wall, the second one, front one, the front left corner of your area, and the other one across the room from it, over there by
man.
that shelf.
Yeah.
That's sort of kind of mirrored middle of the wall placement ish.
Given that this isn't even a rectangle room, though.
I know it's like I said, it's really not. Or you could actually maybe put it underneath the right speaker, and then in that other place I just said, that might even be better. I don't really know.
But you know what? Since he wants a symmetrical look, I'm like, I think his plan is very reasonable.
Oh yeah, I think so too. That's the only other placement option I see. I'm just throwing it out there. So with both subs on the front wall, you have to play with the phase to get semblance of uniformity, right? Can we explain how to go about this? Does he need to rerun Odyssey every single time he adjusts the phase of one of the subwoofers?
No, thank goodness. That
No,
would
you don't
be
have to do that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. No. So yes, you will have to play with the phase. Maybe. Or maybe you won't. Maybe we'll play with something that'll sound
Maybe
good.
he'll just totally luck out, right?
He'll luck out. So we can all let's all cross our fingers and hope for that one, because there is the chance that you're just going to luck out. So how do you do this? The easiest way is to send a single sweep through both the subwoofers at the same time. Right? Where they're placed. Make sure they're level matched.
Right.
And then send that sweep through your subwoofers. Then what you're going to
in
be
mono. In mono.
Of course, your subwoofers shall always be running mono. Then, adjust the phase on one sub. Pick one. Doesn't make a difference. Probably the easiest one to get to. That's the one I would go with. And then adjust the phase a little bit and walk around the room. And listen to the evenness.
The sweep. Yeah.
of the sweep. So what we're not talking about is you're not going for the same volume across the entire sweep. What you want is if there's a change in volume, like it gets louder or softer, it always gets louder or always gets softer at the same part of the sweep, no matter where you are in the room.
Right.
Or in this case, where you are sitting on that couch.
Right. Yes, uniformity. That's
yeah,
what we're going for.
Because once you have the uniformity of the volume across those seats, then your Odyssey can go back and fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're the only one that cares, and I haven't heard anything yet about anybody else caring about this other
right.
than him. So if you're the only one that cares, then just set up both of your subwoofers, put the microphone in your seat, and then that's it. You're done. Don't do anything else because it'll correct for that
keep
one
the microphone
place.
Close, the multiple microphone positions, keep them all close to your primary seat if that's the only seat you care about.
Yeah.
And Odyssey Multi-Q XT32 with sub EQ HD will do a pretty darn good job if that's all you care about all on its own. So this could be quite simple for you.
Yes, if you don't care about the rest of the couch. If
right.
you do care about the rest of the couch, then you'll have to run the sweep, listen as you scoot across the couch. You're listening for the uniformity and the volume across the frequency sweep.
So if that's what you're doing, you leave one of the subs at 0 degrees on the phase knob. The other one, I mean, for simplicity's sake, go about 5 degrees at a time. If you really want to get granular, mathematically, you would go 3 degrees at a time. But man, that could be a lot.
That's a long time.
Could be a lot of trial and error. Yeah. So I mean, if you went 6 degrees at a time, that's pretty good, right? If you go 6 degrees at a time, that keeps the math quite reasonable.
I'd probably
would be
go
pretty
like
good.
10, but that's good.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
But yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. But you only have to do it once. And after you're done, you would actually want to set things up. And this actually works nicely if you are going to do the Voice of God channel, because that uses the second subwoofer pre-out. That second subwoofer pre-out gets snatched away and turned into the Voice of God pre-out. But you know what? If you're doing this uniform subwoofer adjusting the phase manually thing, you then would not want sub EQHT adjusting the distances of the subwoofers independently, because that would mess up what you just did manually. So you would want a single subwoofer output feeding both
that's
subs.
True. I didn't thought
that's
about
actually
that.
what you would want. So it all works out swimmingly if you want to do Voice of God and this manual phase adjustment.
So regardless, if you go through with all this and you do the manual phase adjustment, you want to make sure you're only using one of your two subwoofer outputs, regardless.
Yeah.
You want your subwoofers to be playing in mono. Now you can like to level match, you can plug them both in, right? Plug them both in and then manually adjust. How would you do that?
Oh, just do normal level matching. Don't mess around with stuff. Yeah.
All right.
He says one sub, you get it to one level. You play the other sub, you get it to the same level. They're level matched. You're done.
There you go. The room's walls and ceilings are concrete and the floor is woods. So except for a rug and some curtains, it's all reflective. What do we suggest for room treatments? And specifically, what about the first reflection points of the left and right speakers? If left speaker will have a wall right next to it while the right is open, is this likely to cause issues, and how can you correct them? Okay, so what do we, with the room like yours, what do we suggest for room treatments? As much as frickin' possible.
Yeah,
like
anywhere that you can put a zone of absorption, put a zone of absorption, including the ceiling if you can.
If you can do it on the ceiling, do it on the ceiling. If you can do it on the walls, do it on the walls. You definitely do it behind your head. Like,
yes,
for
behind your
real.
There's a wall behind that couch. I can't imagine you're not allowed to have something behind that couch. If it's decorative, you get printed acoustic panels that have whatever image you want printed on them, and they double as your artwork. You've got to have something absorbing behind your couch for sure.
Yes, and that left front speaker, you want to put some absorption right next to it, and so that anything that's blowing into that, anything that's going into that wall will be as caught as possible. So as much
could
absorption.
Be a bit of a challenge, but whatever you can put beside that front left speaker, you want.
Make sure your rug is thick. Use a thick pad underneath it if you can.
Yeah.
Put absorption on your ceiling at your first reflection point of your ceiling if you can. Don't worry about the right speaker, about how it blows into the room, because that's just going to go bouncing around in there. You don't know what that's going to do.
Yeah.
So behind your head, to the left of the speaker, the front left speaker, as much as you can on the floor, and as much as on the ceiling if you can. That's
Yep.
what we suggest. And bass straps. I mean, I don't know where you're gonna put them in here, but along the ceiling, I guess. Any edge.
After that, don't worry about placement. Just anywhere you could put some absorption, put it.
Literally anywhere. Like if you have art of any
In
kind
the shelf,
here,
under
like,
your dining room table.
That's right. That's
Anything.
right. Anything. Anything would be good in here.
Yeah.
So I have to scroll back down. Lastly, he could move the seats a little forward, but not much. Would that help with any acoustic problems? Can you shove whatever acoustic material you can behind that couch? Because then, yes.
And also, I just want to say he's going for a 65-inch screen from 13 feet away. That's only a 20.6 degree field of view, which is on the smaller side, especially for a nice 4K resolution display like this. So, however close you can put the seats, I would get them as close as is reasonable in this setup.
Yeah, I agree.
The closer the better.
Yeah. And he'll ask, lastly, is there anything else in this plan we think you should change? And I don't think we do. Do you?
The only thing I would say is, from the plan that you have, you don't need an X6300. You could get an X4300 and do everything you want to do for less money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would point out here.
All right. There you go. Yeah. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.